Psst, I got a bit of a secret for you. There's this little known indie title called Baldur's Gate 3. Has a few playable scalies in it. Not sure if you've heard of it. Yeah, not too many people are talking about it. I'm surprised you clicked on the video, really. Totally overlooked game, considering how much effort was put into it. Apparently it was based on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, some tabletop game. Real niche hobby, honestly. Since you're here, though, I'm sure you might have caught on to something. A recent development that may be of some interest to you, treasure hunter. It seems this person on Patreon has done it yet again. Another video game blessed with the majesty of fur. And, once more, lore accurate. Another slam dunk win for Team Furry normies. Ugh! The creator here is Cobalt Owl, the furry saint behind the Cyberpunk 2077 mod, as mentioned before. So for those of you that haven't heard of Baldur's Gate 3 or don't know what it's about, I'll give you a very brief rundown. Also, there'll be Act 1 spoilers ahead. You have been warned. In any case, Baldur's Gate 3 is a computer RPG based on the tabletop game Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and takes place in the Forgotten Realms setting. In other words, we're quite far into geek territory with swords, sorcery, dragons, and all manners of fantasy stuff. You begin your time in Baldur's Gate 3 as any proper furry would, by being abducted by tall tentacle daddies, uwu. From there you'll be introduced to a colorful cast of characters, including Green Dominatrix Warrior Woman, and if you're not a psychopath, you'll probably end up freeing Shadowheart, who was a tragic heroine from Earth that was totally owned by lame-ass Cthulhu douches while chillaxing at a hot topic in the early 2000s, and ended up in the Forgotten Realms where her life got turned upside down. Now, I could certainly go on describing all of these other wonderful companions, but I don't think there's any need, because clearly the superior companion is bisexual vampire twink. Edward Cullen, eat your heart out.
Why are you gay?
The process of installing the mod is, as with many things, a little tedious, but ultimately not too bad once you know what to do. Gotta suffer a bit to get your dreamy furry twinks. You know the drill. If you've dabbled in Skyrim modding, this isn't too different, aside from this game being a better game in every feasible way compared to Skyrim. In any case, I'll drop a link for getting started on installing mods below. That said, all you're doing is installing a script extender and a mod manager. Easy peasy. I'd also recommend the Silent Voice Pack mod if you value your sanity and don't want somebody to constantly state the blatantly obvious in the world's most milquetoast British accent.
If this ship hits the ground, we're dead.
Anyways, the mod is currently a work in progress as of recording this video, but for the sake of posterity, I'll mention that the mod intends to release with both the female and male options for the Tabaxi with a wide variety of different customization options as well. Though as of now, only the male version of this is finished. Right now, it currently comes with your standard array of customization options, including different eye colors and a variety of different hairstyles and hair colors. And beards if you want your Tabaxi to be a furry neckbeard. There are also different textures for the Tabaxi as well, with one being based off an ocelot, and another panther-like texture. With my destiny set before me, I'm ready to accept the call for adventure and fall into the clutches of the big tentacle daddies, uwu. 10 minutes of hand-holding and being a good little subby thrall for our tentacled masters, and we're falling from the sky to our deaths. Damn, this RP got dark. See, this is exactly why you need to share F-list pages with each other before you start your roleplays. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to FA to post about how Cthulhu Lover 775 gave me PTSD by RP killing my character. Though it seemed we survived after all, and immediately stumble upon a pained Shart on the beach next to some expired pink Laffy Taffy.
I remember the ship. I remember falling.
Is it just me, or is Shart looking a little different? So much more handsome, just like that episode in SpongeBob.
Something the matter?
Can't think of a thing. For those curious, the mod that made Shadowheart suddenly more handsome is the Handsome Shadowheart mod on the Nexus, which isn't related with the Furry Tabaxi mod. Just felt I'd add a few random mods while I'm taking a stroll within the Alzheimer realms. Along the way, I run into Chad Astarion, who decides to try and murder me with his chiseled jaw, but later realizes he was just being a little catty. It's been a while since we've talked to Shadowheart, now that I think of it. I wonder what she's thinking.
Astarion's an interesting find. Let's hope any future acquaintances don't hold a blade to your throat by way of introduction.
You tell it like it is, girl! As we trek further into the world, we are met with a sight that you've probably seen once or twice if you've ever visited Fur Affinity. I'll give you a hint. It is a very, very dirty subtype of vor. Any further explanation than that will likely get me banned off of YouTube. Gale, for his part, doesn't seem to be much into that, so after giving him a hand, I decided to stop stonewalling him and pull him out.
Hello, I'm Gale of Waterdeep.
Meanwhile, the party happened across a few gobos, which were quickly disposed of, and we were let into the keep full of Devil Sonas. While perusing the keep, I also met with Will, who's not really sold on the whole Devil Sona thing, so I tell him to wait for me at camp while I formulate a plan against the scourge that is the Devil Sonas. While in the keep, we also run across an Otherkin community that doesn't really seem that eager to let us in. Which really kind of hurts my feelings, man. I thought we were bros. Brothers in fur. Otherkin's really doing us dirty right now. Though it turns out the leader of the Otherkins wants to speak with us, so we're allowed the pass, probably because they realized the grave mistake of turning a paw against a brother in fur. The leader of the Otherkins is a snake by the name of Kaga.
The Viper must strike.
Anyways, Kaga tells us we need to send a DM to Zelvor on his Gaia Online profile, cause she was blocked. So, I set off to send Zelvor a DM about how he is a big beta male pussy who can't pay rent and is going to have to take an Uber back to his mom's house. Being true to my feline tendencies, I end up completely forgetting about what I'm doing and chase a new flight of fancy before spontaneously deciding I need to sleep. And just look how pretty the night sky is. How wonderfully scenic. As I stare off into the night, and am given the proper time to process the precarious situation with the tadpoles and the squidman TF and other such distressing events, I'm set upon the sudden realization that I could have made my hair hot pink, and so I decide to rectify this egregious misjudgment while I'm at camp. As I drift off into sleep, I find much to my delight that the pink hair dye is already working wonders, as Chad Astarion decided to pick little old me to suck blood from. I decided to tell Astarion that the joke's on him, and that I've seen this fetish before on FA and that I'm actually into it. Astarion proceeded to suck me nearly dry, and I wake up just a little worse for wear after all of it. As it always is, it seems we must suffer for our passions. Less I. Waking up and readying myself for the day ahead, we are met with a rather bizarre and disturbing sight. Bloated hyenas writhing on the ground. It seems if we simply leave them as they are, they'll give birth to a newborn null. Seeing as we are all intelligent and rational adventurers, and knowing of the danger that lied ahead if we allowed this, we all channeled our inner Judy Hopps from the Zootopia abortion comic and aborted the unwanted null children. After the dust had settled, it seemed that our collective efforts towards abortion were quite the educational experience, as we leveled up immediately afterwards. Me and Gale in particular got our first level 2 spells, which I figured would come in use for the battle ahead. Armed with the knowledge of aborting unwanted children, we decided to press on and eliminate the nulls ahead for the crime of being poor man's werewolves for the furry fandom. Another impromptu nap later, and we're ready to throw down with the vaguely attractive and muscled hyena men. They turned out to be no match for our fancy spells, particularly Magic Missile, because holy shit, this spell is fucking broken, especially with the equipment you get later, but I digress. We spammed Magic Missile at the infinite darkness inside of their hearts, and threw in a few guiding bolts and biting for good measure. Emerging victorious, my mind was left to wander on other things, like this video overstaying its welcome. Hopefully the mod showcase gave an idea of what's in store with this well-needed and promising furry mod. As mentioned, it's not quite finished, but by the time you watch this video, it'll likely be in a full and finished state on the Nexus. It's also lore accurate, as mentioned previously. The Tabaxi are a well-established and present race in D&D, so it's a mod that references a well-established race within the Forgotten Realms with its own customs, cultures, and so on. Just be sure to have your lore license on your person when the lore nerds pull you over and start asking questions. As always, thank you very much for watching, and if you made it to the end of the video, liking, subscribing, and sharing the video really does help the channel a lot. And of course, it's very appreciated. I think in the last mod video I mentioned an Elden Ring furry mod video. I'm terrible at finishing things sometimes, I apologize. I'm still working on that video though, but this was a fun mod to cover. I knew as soon as I caught wind of it, I had to make a video on it. Just too good not to share. And now the internet can bear witness to a video dedicated to a furry mod in Baldur's Gate 3. No wonder the internet can't stand her dumb asses. Anyways, I'm signing out over here. Y'all take care of yourselves. See ya!